a lot of tech companies are laying off, like, with a federal cut. And because of the invention of AI, all this is new. How I got into tech was about 3 or 4 years ago. I wanted to try something different. All these tech guys, when I go out to the club, I'm like, what are these guys doing? And I was just curious as far as like what they did. I wanted to like better my life and I wanted to do something different. Most people do tech stacking where they constantly, in the field applying for jobs. So like they have like 2 or 3 jobs stacked up.
Right.
So if they lose one, you still have 2. If you lose 2, you still have 1. And it's a constant process. You never stop. So that's what motivated me to create Robo Apply, because I was always in the job market, like applying for jobs constantly. And when you think about it, it takes a lot of hours of your time applying for jobs after jobs after jobs. Most people probably spend 3 or 4 hours applying for jobs. So I thought about Robo Apply, like, what about if I create a tool that can automate the process where you don't have to spend all these hours applying for jobs, and that way you save some time and you can be productive somewhere else. So I generated about $2,000 offering people the services manually. That's what brought the idea of Robo Apply.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you again for joining us. It's another great episode of the Royalty Mindset podcast. You know how we do it here. We come around with people of different calibers and, of course, standards to provide us information that is shaping and creating values for our lives. On today's episode, I do have a great friend of mine, Mazi, a technologist who has a beautiful brand. Of course, he's going to be sharing with us what that brand is all about. And of course, he's going to be telling us who he is and how his mindset has been able to transform his life to where he is today. Without further ado, Mazi,
Thank you.
you're welcome to the pod.
Appreciate that, man. Thanks for having me, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'd like us to start with, who is Mazi?
So the name Mazi came about a few years back when I was into Afro pop. So I went into making music. I had a brand called Live Money Entertainment, and my primary focus then was to just bring out good music to represent Nigerian culture. At that time, most of my friends were doing good in music, Davido, Wizkid, all those guys.
Right.
So I was really there when they were coming up. So, and that kind of inspired me in my early 20s, and I was like, I'm going to get into it. So started a brand, Live Money Entertainment. I had a couple of artists, and we just ventured out, dropped a couple of singles. My first single at that time was Sankololo, and that kind of went viral. And then dropped a couple more songs, Sexy Lover, and, the rest is history. So
Wow.
we here.
I never knew this aspect of you.
Yeah.
I only got to know you as a technologist
Yeah.
who is doing very well for himself today
That's
in the
right.
tech world. I never knew you had a stint of entertainment
Yeah.
in you. You know that I also have a record label brand.
Yeah.
Yes, so I signed a couple of artists. We're still working on that at the moment,
Yeah.
anyways.
I love what you're doing,
Thank
actually.
you.
I see that you're into fashion,
Yes.
music.
Yes.
You wear so
Everywhere.
many hats.
Everywhere.
You wrote a book, so congratulations
Thank
on
you
your
very
book. So
much.
that was really nice. Bro.
Thank you.
And
you
also-
were there at the
Yeah.
day I actually launched the book.
Yeah.
Thank you for
yeah.
coming again.
Yeah, it was a good vibe. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So now tell us about Mazi, the technologist. How did you get into tech, and what do
Yeah.
you do in tech today?
Yeah, so Mazi, that's my artist name, So my real name is Idris Ilemi. So Idris Ilemi represent the tech guy. So how I got into tech was about let's backtrack 3 years ago, right? 3 or 4 years ago, I wanted to try something different. I saw all these tech guys when I go out to the club. I'm like, what are these guys doing? This is like post the pandemic.
Yeah.
Everybody was out, black guys driving nice car, just doing good, and I'm like, yo, it's no way. It's like there's nothing on the street,
Right.
right? And I was just curious as far as what they did. I wanted to better my life, and I wanted to do something different. I was told that tech, is the way is the way forward. So at that time, I reached out to a guy, one of my friends. He had just bought a Bentley, And I'm like, bro, like, what are you doing? Like, let me know. I want to get
Are you
into
a
the set. I
scammer?
want to tell
Or
you a
what?
scammer stuff. He said, nah, he's not a scammer. But those
Yeah.
guys were really outside. They were really balling out like they were scammers.
Right.
But you couldn't tell because they dressed just like this, jewelry and all. But behind closed doors, they are behind the computers, right? And so when I reached out to him, he was like, "Oh, I got a mentor. I want you to reach out to this guy and see if you can sign up for his mentorship program." Shout out to my man GZ, whatnot. He runs a class. So I reached out to GZ, and GZ was like, "Hey, man, my classes are like 2,500." I said, "Okay, well, I'm gonna just pull up on you and see what's up." So I pulled up on GZ and I say, "Hey, GZ, bro, I don't got 2,500 for your class, but I got $500 for you to like."
Start with me.
I'll start with me,
Yeah.
be my mentor, and optimize my resume. So I paid Jizzy that $500, and when I paid him the $500, like he created my resume and he sent me like some reading materials. So most of it was just like going to YouTube, like really studying, practicing, and just my elevator pitch. And from there, like the rest was history, right? I started doing interviews. I started getting calls. I remember the first call, I called Jesus. I was like, "Hey man, what do I say? Like, how do I go about answering those questions? Can you do it for me?"
Right.
He was like, "Bro, if I do it for you, I'm gonna charge you $500 a call."
Right.
And it was like, "You got to really just do it." So I just started taking the calls. Kid you not, my first 2 weeks, I ended up getting an offer for at Procter and Gamble
Mm.
for $145,000. First 2 weeks straight up, right?
Wow.
So I got in there and yeah, just just started like navigating the waters. Took more training classes. I got certified as a project management professional, PMP. I then further got certified as a Scrum Master. So I got all those licenses under my belt. I've always had a computer science background because
Okay.
I went to college. I studied computer science
Okay.
at University of North Texas, and then I transferred to Texas A&M Commerce.
Right.
And so that's how it has been. I've always, like in our culture, Nigeria
Right.
is like you. We all about education, right? I'm
Absolutely.
sure you know
It's a
about like
standard.
most
Yeah.
Nigerians are either lawyers, doctors,
Right.
or engineers.
Technologies.
Engineers. So it's
Yeah.
like, so I kind of found my niche, and I've just been here, just been grinding for the last 3 years, and like it's been growing, and now I'm like transitioning into something else.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. You see, listening to you is just you're an inspiration, bro.
Oh yeah.
I have to tell
So
you that, it just gives me a lot of, real life scenarios. I am also a trainer. I train people in tech and I have
okay.
trained more than 500 people
Wow.
in tech, and many of them are doing very well today,
Wow.
for themselves. I have mentored a lot of them in
Wow.
cybersecurity and stuff like that. Because I've been in tech for 15 years.
Wow.
Yeah, this is what I've always done, right?
15 years?
15.
Wow. How did you start?
I studied my bachelor was in computer science,
Okay.
my master's was in information technology, and of course, PhD in cybersecurity honoris causa. So
Wow.
it's always been my line. Back from Nigeria, where I started my career, I started as, in a tech firm in Nigeria, in Lagos, Nigeria,
Mm-hmm.
where I was a business analyst and a software,
Oh,
developer and all of that
wow.
before I eventually, moved around in circles in tech. 'Cause tech is
Wow.
very broad, as you know. It's
Yeah.
just like the
Yeah.
field of medicine.
Yeah.
Moved from tech project management and then eventually settled in security when I moved to America.
Okay.
And it is very interesting because I see what this have done for our people and what it's still doing for our people. Imagine so many people that would have been scammers today, they've all left the streets and they have just focused in their tech careers and they are making the same money that the scammers guy would have been making. And
Actually, even more.
even more, and you are more comfortable. You are not
Yeah.
scared
You're
of being
not
chased by
scared.
anyone or something
Yeah.
like that
That's
because you are
true.
doing something genuine. So that is really interesting, very interesting. So you have a product you have just built.
Yeah.
What do you call it again?
Robo Apply.
Robo Apply.
Yeah.
I'm very interested in learning more about that. So what is it about?
So Robo Apply is a job automated software that automate the job application processes for job seekers. It also optimizes resume, it builds cover letter, and then you can also get an AI score for your resume. So it's a very versatile tool, and you can also use it to prepare for as an interview buddy, right? So you can ask it questions based on your resume and like prepare for your interview using Robo Apply. So that product right now, it's in development right now,
Okay.
but it's a lot of exciting. We're in exciting times right now
Right.
as far as like where we are with the process. We started off like in September last year. It's been about 7 months right now. So we've completed the entire UI UX. We've done the front end development, and currently we are starting to move into the back end development and the AI integration of Robo Apply. But
Mm.
it's a very
That's dope.
useful tool right
That is
now.
dope indeed. Very useful.
Yeah.
You know, why did you do this? What prompted this? What was the inspiration behind all of these things?
So there's inspiration about it behind it is because as working in technology,
Mm.
right? I've always realized like sometimes when you work in contract jobs,
Right.
sometimes you have to make sure that you are well grounded, because once the contract ends, you have to, find another job, right? So it's like the constant rotation of like getting a job, getting laid off or
Right.
your contract being terminated. So in this modern industry right now, tech, most of the people that I know are doing something called job stacking or tech stacking. I don't know if you know about tech stacking.
Absolutely.
So tech stacking is
Yeah.
like having multiple tech jobs, right? It's because like when you have one tech job, if you get fired, you're out of it, right? So
Yeah.
it's going to take you
Some
3 months
time.
to 3 to 6 months to get another job. So most people do tech stacking where they're constantly, in the field applying for jobs. So like they have like 2 or 3 jobs stacked up.
Right.
So if they lose one, you still have two. If you lose two, you still have one. And it's a constant process. You never stop. So that's what motivated me to create Robo Apply, because I was always in the industry. I was always in the job market, like applying for jobs constantly. And when you think about it, it takes a lot of hours of your time applying for jobs after jobs after jobs. Most people probably spend 3 or 4 hours applying for jobs. So I thought about Robo Apply. Like, what about if I create a tool that can automate the process where you don't have to spend all these hours applying for job,
Right.
and that way you save some time and you can be productive somewhere else. So that's what brought the idea here of Robo Apply. Just
Wow.
automate the whole process of like job
I like
application.
that.
Yeah.
I like that because I had a guest in one of my episodes where we talked about adopting AI,
Okay.
right? So, and that's exactly what we talked about. A lot of people are still like, how do I even start making use of AI? What is even AI?
Yeah.
And all of those things. So they don't know exactly how AI works and how or where they can actually make use of AI. What you just talked about right now, talking about the Robo Apply, that's purely an AI tool that people can utilize, you know, save time instead of you logging on to different website applying by yourself.
Yeah.
AI simply does all the application for you.
Yes.
Just plug in all your details
Yeah.
in Robo Apply and
Yeah.
it does the rest for
He
you.
does the rest. Yeah.
Wow, this is beautiful. I love that too. I love the way it sounds, and I can't wait for it to be fully out.
Yeah.
To help some of my old students or my mentees make use of it as well. I can help you market it to them and say, hey, you have a new tool in town that can actually help you distribute your resumes to different platforms and
Yeah.
get you a job
Yeah.
faster than
Yeah.
you would have, done if you were to be doing it by yourself.
That's exactly right.
Beautiful,
Yeah. Thank
beautiful,
you.
beautiful, beautiful. So, what else do you do aside from tech entertainment? And is there any other thing you do?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So right now, I've just been working on maybe like investing into stocks
Hmm.
and what they call it, index funds right now. So that's something else I do, and I also have like Airbnb's properties on the side.
Nice.
But there's nothing compared to tech, right? So tech is like actually
The
my number
base.
one hustle
Right.
and my number one source. So that's the focus right now. Yeah.
Makes plenty sense.
Yeah.
Makes plenty sense. I'm always glad when I see my fellow,
Yeah.
doing so many big things. And you're one of those guys that I know is really doing very well for himself,
Thank
for
you.
themselves. And it is just an inspiration. Whenever I see my fellow like this doing stuff like this, I'm inspired to also do more.
Yeah.
And that's the reason why we have this circle. Where we continue to inspire ourselves and see what next big thing we all need to get into,
Yeah.
sharing information and all of those things. So, which
Yeah.
is good. when you start making money from one point, you look for ways to diversify and
Yeah.
make your wealth stronger and have a stronger base.
Yeah.
Very, very important. So I love what you're doing.
Yeah.
Love what you're doing.
And you know, one of the things, like when I came about this Robo Apply idea, you know, I did a test to see what the demand is in the market. So at first, I started a freelance project on this platform called Fiverr, where I posted an ad um, with a job ad helping people automate their job search, right? Or search and apply for jobs,
Right.
right? So using that small proof of concept, you know, we were able to get like about 20 people apply for that services, right? So I generated about $2,000 offering people the services manually, where I applied for jobs for them. And with that in mind, I discovered that, okay, well, this is actually a use case where people actually need these services, right? So, like you mentioned, AI apply for the jobs for you on LinkedIn, Indeed, Dice, Monster, ZipRecruiter, and you can also track the whole process by going to your dashboard. We have an analytics tool where you can see all the jobs that you've applied to, and also the link if you want to verify. And you can also export that link in an Excel spreadsheet to keep a list of like the jobs that you've applied for. So this tool is actually awesome. It's Robo apply.com. Right now, we have a pre-marketing site that is live where you can actually go on, but the actual product marketing is in development right now. So we're looking at dropping that in sometime around August. So we hope that everything, you know, it
Makes
goes
plenty
viral by
sense.
then. Yeah.
Makes plenty. You see, I love how you started it. You didn't wait till the full package is in the market before you
Yeah.
start marketing it or talking about it.
Yeah.
That's one of the biggest marketing points, that many people utilize today.
Yeah.
They don't
Yeah.
get to wait till everything is ready. That's part of agile.
Yeah.
You basically you roll out the value proposition,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
the MVP is there.
Yeah, you got to go to
Just
market
right
strategy, test the
immediately.
market, and see what the market is like. So,
Right.
like while we were in development, I thought about it. I was like, okay, if I wait till the product is finished and I start marketing, I'm just basically not going to know what the next steps are going to be, right? Or I might try to figure it out as I go.
Right.
So what I did was I created a pre-marketing launch site to test the market, to test different marketing strategies, to see what works, paid ads, Facebook ads, TikTok ads, Instagram ads, just to see the demand. We received over 20,000 website visit,
Wow.
within the last 2 months. To God be my witness.
That's a huge traffic.
Yeah, we had a lot of traffic. Over 500 people have already subscribed in our email list already, even before the launch of the actual product. So I'm like, wow. So right now you can go on TikTok, you can find us Robo Apply, you can find us on Instagram, Facebook, even LinkedIn, all this platform, right? So with that, with that knowledge in hand, right? So now it's like, okay, I've spent maybe like $2,000 on paid ads, and I've seen the results. We've had over, X amount of people. This traffic, people are constantly messaging us. I can show you my phone now. People are asking me from different places, like, I need a job. How do I?
Wow.
And it's like overwhelming. It's like, okay, I would just have to wait till the product drop, because I know there's so many people out here that need jobs. There's so many people outside of the United
Right.
States that are trying to come to the United States
Right.
looking for jobs. Like if you see President Trump just actually gave out this thing called the gold card, right? The gold
Yes.
card.
With $5 million, you become
$5 million, you become,
Yeah.
you get a path to citizenship, right?
Right.
So that just shows you like the opportunity are endless. Like people are coming to the United States. People are looking for jobs, Even with the recent layoff right now, with
Right.
the new president, a lot of tech companies are laying off. Like, with the federal cut, there are a lot of people are actually in need of jobs right now. So I think that this platform is really going to do what it do. And because of the invention of AI, all
Right.
this is new. This is like we are the first, or like we are the first wave, coming
Yes.
into this game,
Right.
right? So just imagine what the game is going to look like 5 years from now when AI has changed, where AI is modernized, right? It's going to be a whole new platform.
Settings.
We might have evolved into a different
Yeah.
company, right? You know, so in the future, I'm thinking about creating an employer portal where employers can come and they can pay to post jobs, and also have an employee portal where basically employers can match the skills they're looking for
Mm.
on the platform, and they can get they can get directed or to the candidates they are looking for. Yeah, so
Wow. This is beautiful idea.
yeah,
This is all what AI is all about.
yeah,
It has come to change the game. You have an idea, and AI helps you, you know,
exactly.
take it out there.
Yeah,
And like you mentioned, this is the first wave. Still very early. In
yeah,
fact, that's the way to go now. As a technologist or whoever you are, if you want to build a brand,
yeah,
building an AI app
yeah,
is one of the best ways now, one of the easiest ways to being a millionaire
yeah,
in this day and age. So I'm very happy you've taken that initiative and
yeah.
start being, as part of the first
Yeah,
wave.
yeah. So,
Yeah.
so you're a software development a developer, right? You have that background. Have you thought about creating something?
Oh, I have a lot of stuff being, currently ongoing.
Do I need to sign an
No,
NDA?
you're good. So I really don't develop software, like I don't code.
Okay.
Yeah, I just work with software developers. As a business analyst, I work directly with,
Yeah,
back then,
yeah,
before I transition into the security side of things. So yeah, this day and age too, what I do is basically creating products. I want to create as many products as I can.
mm,
The ones that I have currently are just in the pipeline as well, just like yours. I just have not really done the market. I have not started with the marketing aspect of
yeah.
those. I'm building a brand called Branded AI,
Oh wow.
just like an app that helps you create a brand.
Okay.
You're looking to create a brand, you don't know how to go about it, you don't even know what branding is all about. The AI is going to help you figure out a lot of things, help you determine the kind of colors to use,
Oh wow.
the names and all of those things, suggest those names for you, and
Mm-hmm.
just create a report for you that you can actually use as a framework
Brand.
to
Yeah.
create your brand.
Yeah, that is
Yeah,
true. Because like
yeah,
when I started when I started the initial build of Robo Apply,
right.
we had to go through that branding process.
Yep,
So you need to have that branding guidelines, though,
exactly.
because those branding guidelines come with that's very important because
Yes.
it determines like the color, like the tone of your website, of your brand,
Right.
right? The message,
Even the
right?
name.
The name, yeah.
Yes.
So that really would guide you to keep your brand consistent, right?
Exactly.
Because when you look at Netflix, what colors do you think of? What
Yes.
colors? Black and
And
red,
red.
red,
Yes.
and maybe a little bit of white. So
Yes.
when you see Netflix brand, it's consistent everywhere.
Yeah.
Facebook brand is blue and white. Snapchat, yellow, right?
Right.
Yeah, so it's like the brand is consistent everywhere. So
Yes.
that's actually
Very
a great
important.
idea because like that is one of the prerequisites, right, as a business owner
Mhm.
to making sure that you have a brand. So your software, your AI brand, that's going to change the game.
A lot.
Like if that software was there, I had to pay $380 for
For
someone to
branding.
for the branding, right?
Yeah.
And it looked like AI generated, right? So I paid someone on Fiverr. So imagine like you have that software
And you only pay
and I
$20.
paid $20, and he does what? Of
Everything.
course. So that's a great idea.
Yes.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah,
So yeah, that's just one of those things that I'm working at, plus other stuff
yeah.
coming up. Yeah, a
And
lot of ideas.
shout out though, and shout out because like I have a team, offshore team.
Nice.
They're actually really good in development. So shout out to them. If anyone needs to create a software
Connect.
or develop something, can reach out to me directly, and
Very good.
I'll put you through.
Very good. Very good. Thank you, Mazi.
Yeah.
So, rounding up, all what we have been discussing has to do with mindset,
Yeah.
because it takes a great mindset to be able to think what you are thinking, to be able to think about Robo Apply, to be able to think about getting into tech, to be able to have done music and all of that. It's all about mindset,
Mindset. Yeah.
positive mindset. If
Yeah.
you do not have it, you can't think like that.
Definitely.
Yeah. So,
Definitely.
how has mindset helped you in just a few sentences?
Mindset, I believe that 10% is what happens to you, and 90% is how you react to it.
Mm,
So that's mindset.
mm.
Just being ambitious, never quitting, never taking no for an answer, and just keep on pushing forward, right? So that's the mindset.
Wow. Take that mindset, guys, and make do with it.
Yeah.
It's been a pleasure having you on the pod,
Thank you. It was
my
a pleasure
friend.
too.
Thank you for coming.
You,
We have just started, and of course, a time will come, I will invite you again and say,
for sure.
let's take it to the next level. Maybe by the time Robo Apply is fully out and we want to let people know about this particular product, we can bring you back again
Okay.
and talk more about it and see how people can make use of that particular tool, in changing their lives for good.
Definitely. I
Yeah.
appreciate that.
Thank you for coming, man.
Thank you too. Thanks for having me.
All right, guys. So this is where we draw the curtain for today. Please watch, share, comment, and let other people know about this beautiful podcast. We are doing a great job here. All we want to see is to see how your life is transformed for the better. And until we come your way again, have a lovely time. Bye.